Hey everyone. In today's episode, I've got a 2008 Jeep Liberty that I'm going to do an interior detail on. The owner told me that it's not very dirty, but as I've come to find out, most owners don't realize how much dirt is lurking in those unseen areas. So strap yourselves in for some satisfying shots as I clean up this Jeep. You'll notice as I start this detail that I was trying to do it a little differently by not removing the seats. When I pulled the vehicle into the shop, I noticed how different this interior was. If you've never been in one of these Jeep Liberties before, let me just say it's like climbing into a small tank. There's barely any legroom at all. At 6'2", I felt completely cramped and almost a little claustrophobic. With this small space, I didn't think it would be possible to get the seats removed. After finishing this first floor well, I realized I would have to get these seats out. Under the seats was filthy, as you see in these shots. Sometimes in SUVs I can clean under the seats pretty easily because of the room, but you can see that the floor design in this Liberty is very unusual. It's like nothing I've worked on before. Fortunately, removing the seats was easier than I thought it would be, and they fit out the door easily. This view gives you a clear look at how much undulation is under the front seats. There's about a 4-inch difference in height from one side of the seat to the other. I had to use wood 4x6 blocks to allow the seats to sit on the floor without tipping over. This floor design didn't cause any issues during the vacuuming step, but when it comes to the extractions, that's a different story. I started the extractions on the cloth seats because I knew that they were going to take the longest to dry. They have that foam underpadding that soaks in the water. There were a couple of spots on the seats where it looked like something had been spilled, but all in all they didn't look too dirty. But as we all know, things always seem to be dirtier than they appear. Even though this vehicle had all-weather floor mats, it was obvious that they were added later in the vehicle's life. This driver's well has the typical Minnesota stain that is so common in vehicles that I see. The crusty white salt stain is always the hardest to remove, and it's where I'll focus most of my efforts. I've been very fortunate with my last few vehicles. Even though this carpet wasn't quite as high a quality as my last two, it is still above average and cleans up nicely. This is where the detail got to be a little tedious. Trying to extract all the cleaning solution around these undulations took forever. I sped up this part by 5 times just to show how many different angles I had to attack the carpet from. Here's an extreme close-up of the biggest stain in the car. The owner has a young daughter who must have spilled something on this center divider. The brown solution being sucked up is so satisfying to watch that I catch myself whistling through this part. That's one reason I don't wear headphones and listen to music while I detail. I'd end up singing the whole time, and I guarantee that would drive viewers away. The spill from the center divider found its way into this rear area as well, but with the above average carpet it came out very nicely. Here's a partial 5-gallon pail full of dirty water I pulled from this Liberty. These all-weather floor mats cleaned up nicely. They had some deep channels in them that I had to use a long bristle brush to get cleaned. There was also some sticky substance on them that required me to use the steamer to remove. And while I have a minute, I'd like to remind you that if you were enjoying the video, take a second and hit that like button to give me some YouTube love. I cleaned the trim with some Car Pro inside that foamed up nicely and removed all the stuck-on stains. Ah, yes. Finally, I got a dirty armrest to clean. The last few have been so disappointing. Not that this one is filthy by any means, but I was able to remove enough that the yellow microfiber was definitely dirty. This center console looked somewhat dirty, but when I pulled the cup holders out, it took the filth to a whole new level. Something had been spilled what looked like numerous times. It took a couple of shots of Car Pro inside and the steamer, but they cleaned up nicely. The little bit that's left in there is the adhesive that holds the cup holders in place, and I didn't want to remove that.
Stick my microfiber down there. Look at that from the shifter. Cool.
With the trim properly cleaned, it's time to restore it and give it some UV protection. My product of choice, as always, is 303 Aerospace Protectant. It's an easy product to use as you spray some on a microfiber applicator and wipe down all your surfaces. It restores and protects your plastic and vinyl. I'll finish this detail by cleaning both sides of the glass. My squeegee game is getting better and better. This Jeep is now liberated of all the filth it had rolled into the shop with. If this video scratched that OCD itch, go on down and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you are notified when I release my videos. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, keep it clean.